Welcome back to the Wondercat channel. Today we're going to be covering what is potentially my personal Picasso, the list that I fought tooth and nail to get to work, to get it to a reasonable level that it can be even remotely viable in this day and age. We are, of course, talking about ARGOmon, but for the constructed format. But today's also a very special variant to our usual videos, since today I'm going to be going over two different variations of this list, differing slightly but greatly in playstyle. One looks to pop off late game and eventually DNA into the most disgusting Valdur stack you've ever seen, while the other plays a bunch of bodies for free through Zwart value. I did fall in love with the archetype for Pauper because I found that the BT17 level 5 ARGO was just an insanely strong for several reasons. Once seeing what adding its other support could do for the deck, I decided to make it my life's work to see that I could create a list that is good enough to take to a event and steal some wins here and there. Sadly, the harsh reality is that ARGOmon as an archetype suffers from two particular problems. One of them being that its first lot of support was printed far too early, and its second set of support, while it did give us some pretty awesome upgrades for the archetype, didn't do enough to make it viable on its own, so let's hope its eventual third wave might give it true legs, if we ever see it. But in the fashion of doing two lists, rather than just whacking one on the end of the other, we're going to be covering both lists at the same time. The upper right cards being what is played in the Zwart list, and the green side being our DNA Valdur list. So today we're going to be starting off with our baby, our little eggs, 4 copies of BT17. While this Digimon is ARGOmon, it gains a blocker. This egg is great because it allows us to make some use of our tastier inheriteds and such during our opponent's turn. Anytime a card gives us another potential choice we can make, it makes the deck more flexible. Our other egg and the other potential choice is the original BT2, which we will of course only play the one copy. During your turn, when this Digimon unsuspends during the unsuspend phase, gain 1 memory. This definitely harkens back to the days of old when it was originally printed, making use of the keyword Digisorption, suspending your Digimon to reduce Digicost significantly. I've tried to run both eggs in opposite ratios, and honestly the extra memory you get from this usually doesn't occur enough to warrant its usage, and the potential blocking one can do with the BT17's egg, it's just way too valuable to pass up on. Both decks will run the same ratios and egg count, nothing too noteworthy to change here. It's also a little disappointing though, since the BT2 egg is the one with the fancy alt art, though the BT17 does have its own pre-release version, so it's not all doom and gloom. But onto our main deck lineup, where our list has a significant number of ARGOmon cards. Shouldn't be a surprise there. Starting off with the BT17 Rookie ARGO. It's a 3-cost on-play dig 3, add a card named ARGOmon and 1 rhythm to hand, bottom deck the rest. This is the deck's main searcher and can feel like the make it or break it of the deck too. Since it can add any ARGOmon from level 3 all the way up to level 6, it can grab us whatever we may be missing level wise. It feels hella bad though when you see multiple levels you don't need or just fail to find it all. That being said, it feels like Christmas when you're able to grab both a rhythm and a missing ARGO that you need for your stack. It's inherited on deletion during any turn, which is pretty cool. Gain 1 memory. The purple shines in this part of the BT17 cards, giving us more potential combat and turn extenders if our board dies to security checks. Very often you'll want to swing with one after digivolving up, hoping it dies to gain that extra 1 or 2 memory you need to finish comboing off. This is a must include for the deck. Both variations will play the full playset. Next, 3 copies of BT2's Rookie ARGO. This card is just a general vanilla, no inherited, 3k rookie for only 2 memory. It does feel pretty bad to play, though honestly, the fact that it does cost 2 actually helps it out a fair bit. The fact it's 3k as well means it can swing aggressively and survive combat with most other rookie Digimon. It's mainly in here to fill up the ARGOmon name number, and again, its origin coming from the first set boxes, means that it has more or less been power crept out of existence. What can you do? Again, because it's an ARGOmon, the list won't differentiate here. Next rookie, 4 copies of BT3 Terriermon in Valdur, 2 copies in Zwart. All turns, your opponent can't gain memory except by tamer effects. This helps to slow down decks like Machinedra and Galaxy. I've also tried the Adventure Tentomon and BT9's Pomumon, both with various degrees of success, dependent on the matchup of course. Since we can't play more ARGOmons here and we do need to try and slow down the opponent as much as possible, a playset of any kind of Floodgate rookies you can source will work well. For Zwart, we finished the rookie lineup with those two BT9 Pomimons because whilst we can play some Digimon for free, that's not really how we flood the board until we hit Zwart, so it can help us in multiple different matchups like Guilmon and Puppets. The Zwart list will significantly be more control tempo based, while our Valdur list is going to be more combo and aggro orientated. Valdur ARGO will also play one copy of EX4 Terriermon. This card is hella spicy, he's a cool little inclusion. On play, reveal the top 4 of your deck, add a 2-color Digimon, bottom deck the rest. Inherited your turn whenever a Digimon you control is suspended using Alliance. This Digimon can Digivolve up into a 2-color green Digimon for 2 less. This can lead to some really cool interactions, which we will go into soon, don't you worry about that. But with our level 3s done, we have a 12 rookie lineup on Valdur, 11 on Zwart. It's more so just a space issue here. It's not too noticeable, to be honest, especially with the digging that Zwart has mid-game. Level 4 time though, we play the full playset of BT17 ARGOmon in both lists. This thing is actually the bane of my existence and makes me very angry. When Digivolving, if you don't control a rhythm, you may play a rhythm for free. Note its wording, it is unlike a lot of our other meta-relevant tamer players that state 1 or fewer tamers, meaning this card effect is essentially useless once you've already played a rhythm. That being said, you could theoretically have 50 other tamer cards on board named something else, and still be able to play a rhythm for free, so I guess it's decent in that regard. But yeah, the card is super frustrating to play when you can't actually play your tamer off of this. It's a Digi for 2 on ARGO or 3 on your Floodgate rookies. I just hate seeing it generally, but it's a necessary evil. It has on deletion inherited, gaining a memory, which is sadly the best thing about this card, and I'm not joking, the card makes me that angry with its when Digivolving wording. If it were on play as well, oh my god, it would be my favorite card in the deck, but you know, we can't all have nice things. Next, 2 copies of the BT2 variant. This card grew on me the more I've played it. It's a 5k DP like the previous one, a digicost of 2 flat, but you have the option of suspending one of your Digimon as it digivolves to reduce its digicost by 2, basically making it free. This skips our level 4 digicost, which is why we played the 2. Sadly, like its BT2 rookie counterpart, it's got no inherited, so we don't want to play the full playset. On top of that, it's generally not generating us any value, since we are potentially sacking it to a swing if left suspended after digisorptioning it. This is a very risky play line early game. If you could start a turn with pushing up a rookie ARGO from raising, have a rookie on board, Digi into your rhythm ARGO for 2 to play the rhythm, then digisorptioning the BT2 to trigger rhythm, gaining us back a memory and drawing an additional card. That's kind of like best case scenario for the card early. The lack of inherited on both this and its level 3 counterpart is just a major letdown for this deck and leaves much to be desired. Our level 4s also consist of Kuwagamon, 3 copies for both lists. This card was one of my favourite commons to come out of EX9 due to training's wording. During the main phase, suspend this Digimon, throw a card from the top of your deck face down under it as its bottom Digivolution card. The reason this effect is so great for us is because it actively triggers Rhythm when we are in a pinch to suspend her for value and don't want to spend memory to do it. His value doesn't stop there though, since his on-play effect is also really solid. On play, or when attacking, throw a card from your hand face down underneath it as its bottom stack card, then suspend a Digimon an opponent controls. It doesn't unsuspend during its controller's unsuspend phase. This usually gets the job done against most decks unless you're playing against blue. This card is one of my favorite turn enders to slam down when you're sitting at 1 memory and your opponent controls a memory setup. We don't want to waste any memory. We can usually lock down a threat for the turn. If it gets back to our turn, we're in for a treat. I'm currently testing 1 copy of EX9 Kabuterimon in the Valdur list to replace a Kawaga, as its effect is essentially the same but works on Digivolving instead of when attacking. I do actually value Kawagamon's piercing inherited more though, and he just looks cooler too, so if I'm not sold on the Kabu, we will stick to 3 with both lists. Next, some cool tech choices. 1 copy of BT16 Namekemon for Zwart, 1 copy of EX4 Wendigo for Valdur. BT16's Namekemon might seem really out of place for this list, but trust me, it pulls its weight. A 4k on play, we can't digivolve into this. Ugh. If you have 3 or more security, a Digimon you control can't be de-digied or have its DP reduced. If you have 3 or less memory, it gains rebuild or blocker. This is one of our protection pieces just to make sure our level 5 and higher stacks aren't interacted with on our setup turns, and since it's another 4 cost on play, we can jam this down similarly to Kawagamon to end our turn, limiting our opponent's answers. Machinedra is currently super annoying and relevant in the meta right now, and it has the potential to both reduce DP and DDigi. ARGO is definitely weak to DDigi effects, so whilst the Machinedra feels a little bricky around the rest of the deck, it's played really well as a protection spell of sorts. The Wendigo one is included in Valdur because we play the full playset of Terriermon. We can make use of that 2-cost Digivolution for cheaper. We also play the bonus EX4 Terrier, which means that when we do draw it, the odds we have a Terrier isn't all that unlikely. It's a level 4 with Alliance, a really interesting thing you don't see all that often. Again, Alliance is an effect that will suspend one of your Digimon, which will trigger Rhythm, so he combos well with her too. As a 4k body, he's still rather small, but mid-game we can essentially alliance with our random rookies or level 4s to beef him up a bit, get our rhythm value. The sweetest part of his kit though is the end of attack once per turn inherited. If you control another suspended Digimon, return a green Digimon from your trash to your hand. The potential options and recycling ability of this inherited is disgusting. I'm all for it, man. This card allowing us to recycle our top end or necessary rookies or level 4, like literally any green Digimon, helps us continue our stack building. It's just an awesome inclusion to the list. This deck really wants to build that big stack and swing, so best believe we're going to be triggering this at least once if we can see him. So our level 4 lineup matches at 10 each, but Zwart sacrifices one of your level 4 slots, Nemekemon, to play as a protection piece and reanimation target. So you've only got 9 green Digivolutions. It puts you down a little bit, but you know. Ultimate time. We start off with BT17 ARGO, the full playset for both lists because, you know, card is cracked. This card is the reason I fell in love with the archetype. An 8 cost 7k body, Digi for 5, 4 on an Argomon. You can suspend up to 5 tamers. Any player controls to reduce its Digi cost by 1 for each. So we could go from level 3 ARGO, Digisorptioning BT2 ARGO for free, suspending itself, then suspending 4 tamers to Digi into level 5 ARGO for free again. The funniest part is that by suspending Rhythm using this effect, we draw an additional card and gain a memory, meaning that every Rhythm on board when Digivolving into this is worth 2 memory and an additional draw. It is one of the greatest parts of the deck, being able to lock down your opponent's tamers, suspending 2 Rhythms, gaining back 2 memory, drawing 3 cards overall. Like, oh my god! So not only can we potentially free Digivolve, but whilst it's on board, your opponent's tamers can't unsuspend, locking them down completely and again helping control the board state. And with even more text on deletion if you have 4 or more Argomon in trash, so let's just assume you've gone from level 2 to level 5 as pure Argomon. Play a level 6 Argomon from your trash for free. Like, from your hand, sorry. For free. Like, my god, this card. Like, we haven't even gotten around to its inherited, though. When attacking once per turn, you may suspend a Rhythm you control if you do unsuspend this Digimon. Now, this is the part of the card that, like, really raises the caliber of this deck. Because the egg, for example, the egg says, as long as this card's name is Argomon, it gains blocker. This card just not caring about what its top end is at all means that being able to throw multiples of these underneath something, having that once per turn, like, you know, you know, guess may as well get into Rhythm now, see where the deck really starts cooking. It's a yellow-green 4-cost tamer that whenever an effect would suspend one of your Digimon during your turn, you may suspend Rhythm. When it's suspended, gain a memory, then if you control an Argomon, draw a card. This tamer being on board changes the deck from like D tier to C tier. If you have 2 or more Rhythm on board, it becomes like B plus higher. This card unlocks so much of the deck, works so well, like works with so many things as well, it's insane. Here's a quick checklist of what we've covered so far that works with Rhythm. So we've got Digisorption to reduce Digicost, will trigger Rhythm. Training on our Kawagamons, if on board, we can't be triggering it in raising for Rhythm. Reducing BT17 level 5 Argomon's Digicost by suspending tamers. And Alliance being able to suspend other Digimon as well, which in turn allows you to suspend Rhythm. That's 4 examples, and that's only what we have covered so far. Man, ARGO just, it makes me so happy from a deck building perspective and just playing it. It's so fun to pilot. But anywho, we're going to be playing 3 copies of her in both lists. Sadly, she is not a check tamer. She is not a memory setter. And while she can give insane amounts of value, she's incredibly slow to play if we aren't playing her for free off of our level 4 Argo or having her checked in security swings. Your other level 5 Argo from BT2 is sadly limited, but it's for good reason. It's another Digisorption 6k, 8 body, 6k body, 8 cost again, but its inherited is where it shines. When attacking, and it's not once per turn, mind you. Play level 3 green Digimon suspended without paying its cost. This inherited helps you play out your Search of Rookie Argo, gumming up the board for you, depending on your other inheriteds can really find you some insane value. Both decks play the 1 for name, and because its inherited is cooked, we do need to be aware that our Pomumons in Zwart will do stop this from triggering, so be sure to Digivolve on top of Pomu if you want to benefit off this inherited, or just play around the fact that you're not playing Digimon off it whilst Pomu slows down your opponent's game plan. Honestly, like, the benefit that Pomumon can give you, you really don't generally care most of the time. At level 5, we play 2 copies of ST21 Lilymon for both lists. Now we're going to start seeing some flavor coming out. A Digivolve for 3, 7k body on play, suspending everything 5k DP or lower. This is also on Digivolve, yeah. With Kawagamon underneath it, it allows us to swing with it, removing a small body, still getting a check-in. The card does more. On top of suspending all their little bodies, it allows you to bottom deck 1 Digimon for every 2 colors your tamers have. This means that an earlier Kawagamon locking something down for a turn, or them swinging into you the turn earlier with their big boy is a potential target. Note that this is a generic for every 2 colors your tamers have, and doesn't have the adventure stipulation. So because rhythm is both green and yellow, a single rhythm unlocks Lilymon's value, and she's just worth playing in the deck, just outright because of that. But still, the card gets even better, because she has Alliance Inherited, meaning that even without a card to suspend one of your Digimon, Lilymon's Inherited gives your level 6's Alliance, guaranteeing rhythm suspensions during your turn if needed. The second one I spotted, the second time that I spotted this card's potential, instantly slotted in as a 2-of. Our only non-Argo level 5 Digimon. Lilymon has just blown me away with how cool this card is, in this list specifically. Onto our biggest of boys in our list, our level 6s, all comes full circle with BT17's super rare Argomon. 3 copies in both lists, a 13k body base, which is pretty solid, Digi for 5 or for 4 on an Argo, which is still pretty expensive. When Digivolving or on play, return up to 4 level 5 or lower cards from your trash named Argomon, shove them underneath, then delete a level 4 plus 1 for every 2 Argomons underneath it. So going back to BT17's level 5 Argo, if he's deleted, you have 4 in trash, you are able to instantly play out a level 6 Argo, throw all 4 in your trash back under it, then delete a level 6. It's pretty good. This is also one of the reasons why D-Digivolution is very rough for this deck. If you're naturally Digivolving onto this, however, not playing it, you'll have at least 2 other Argos underneath it, which means that you have the chance to nuke a level 7 with this thing Digivolving, which is sweet. It feels even better, though, when you overpay for the Digivolution cost, going into their turn, nuking an ace, and then overflowing back into your turn. The card still has more text, though. Oh man, the fact that these cards aren't played with so much text is crazy. Argomon will also gain an additional 1k DP during all turns for every 2 Argomon underneath it as well, meaning it's very often like a 15 plus k blocker minimum thanks to its egg inherited. And the text continue. We don't stop, man. Keeping to BT17's level 5 Argo effect, it also stops your opponent's tamers from unsuspending. So hopefully you've gone from locking them down with level 5 Argo, Digivolving into the level 6, and just keeping them tapped down forever. We only play the 3 copies because it can feel incredibly bricky if you draw too many of them early. 3 seems to be a really solid sweet spot for the card, and both decks have ways to return them from trash in one way or another. But going into our huge stacks, if we Digivolve into this bad boy, we have the potential stack multiple BT17 level 5 Argos underneath it, allowing this 15 plus k beat stick to swing 3 plus times a turn, suspending our rhythms to draw a card, gain a memory, unsuspended. If we have BT2 level 5 Argo underneath it, on each attack, we can play out a level 3 for free, keeping an eye on this particular interaction and your Pomumons multiple times a turn, which of course includes our Searcher Argomon, generating you even more value. On top of that, if the original stack has a Lilymon in it, Argomon also gains Alliance, allowing us to swing with a 15k double check swing potentially multiple times a turn. The card could go high, the deck could go high, it could go wide. They're like, it's beautiful. As stated previously, the deck does sadly crumble to Digivolution decks, since it really wants to keep its stack on board, and losing level 6 Argo can ruin your entire game plan, which is where we want to see the true value of Namekemon in the Zwart list. The true benefit of our huge Argo stack, though, is that if he is somehow miraculously deleted, or bottom decked, however it is, we will usually generate a couple extra memory off our level 3 to 4 Argomon Inherited, so not all is lost. The deck starts to switch up a little here. Zwart playing 2 copies of Puppet Ace, Valdur playing 2 copies of Cherubimon Ace. Puppetmon, man, this card's like my new best friend. 12k reboot blocker on Digi/play, DDigi2, bottom deck is suspended Digimon. This card basically guarantees you a favorable matchup into Adventure and Machinedra, since both decks realistically need to swing to advance their game plan. Worth playing a couple copies. He also benefits off our level 5 and Argo Inherited, being able to swing multiple times a turn and not having to worry about keeping himself up as a blocker, since he has Reboot, being able to restand himself and still has blocker, meaning our loss of blocker and our Argo egg is negligible. Puppet Ace is also one of the funniest tempo cards that can be played into WG decks, since it works incredibly well into them, and is still a prime target for WG to hit it with their own. So it's a true, when should I play it out? Do they have one prepped? It's truly mental warfare here. Cherubimon Ace will also make up for a great top end in Valdur that allows us to go wider. On play / Digivolving, play a level 4 or lower green or yellowmon from your hand, then neg 4k something for each Digimon you control. With this effect, we could slap down 3 Kuwagamons, our Searcher Argomon or EX4 Terrier for added value, expanding our board and controlling our opponents. This card being an ace means that if you play Kuwaga off this, it can guarantee a free suspended lockdown they probably won't be able to fix, removing another attacker from combat during their turn. Oh, it's so good! DP reduction is also a great form into Machinedramon, since it often has the added protection from leaving the field, and DP reduction gets around this form of protection. The card is incredibly pretty. Sadly, nothing can really replace it in this list for what it does. Cherubimon Ace is another Alliance user, meaning it again benefits from our level 5 Argo Inherited and combos with Rhythm. Finishing off our level 6s, both lists are going to play it. It's, 2 copies of Medieval Gallimore. The goat of Constructed rears his beautiful head. He is unironically even more goated in this deck than your average list, since his ability to suspend 2 Digimon to reduce his play cost, you can target your own Digimon. It combos with Rhythm, making him as cheap as costing us only 4 memory if you've got your 3 Rhythm on board. You thought Medi was gross as a 7 cost. Think about a 4 cost Medi drawing 3 cards. Medi gives us combo card number 5 with Rhythm. I'll state again, this card, it's flex slots if you don't own Medi, but realistically, nothing is going to top his power or relevance combo potential in the deck. You suspend 2 of your opponent's Digimon to play him. You can also Vortex end of turn, trigger Alliance, suspend 1 of your other Digimon, which in turn, again, triggers Rhythm. He's so good. I can't stress this enough. There's a reason he's an expensive card. He is, but this card just... Yeah, he is just... You never feel bad drawing this card. We did originally play one... if you had to bottom deck him off an Argomon or he's hitting security, having that second one just really guarantees you're going to see at least one of them during a game. It's definitely worth the investment. And of course, the true top ends, a single copy of Valdur and Zwart for their decks respectively. Valdur is in itself a 1-turn win the game due to the potential stack that we can make, and it's all thanks to its ability being able to DNA Digivolve for free, requiring a green or black level 6, which will, we have 2 Medi, 3 level 6 Argo, and I guess Cherubimon Ace. And Cherubimon Ace will cover our level 6 yellow Digimon required. A 15k body with security +1 and partition when Digivolving for each of its level 6 materials. Suspend a Digimon or Tamer an opponent controls, then gain 1 memory. Then none of their Digimon or Tamers can activate or play effects or unsuspend activate on-play effects or unsuspended at all until the end of their next turn. Due to the nature of DNA Digivolution, Inherited's reset, meaning that all our once per turn Argomons we may have underneath it are all live again. Oh my god. On top of that, we also have Lilymon giving it Alliance, Kuwagamon giving it Piercing, meaning we can swing through a suspended Digimon, unsuspend off a rhythm, and check 3 security on a single swing, rinse and repeat. If you can DNA into Valdur, I can't actually see a way that you should lose the game. He loses into a potential, like the stack that you could build with this can be like 10 plus cards. And if he is deleted outside of battle, you partition out your level 6s, which, you know, if you're playing out Argo, you just delete a level 6 on play, or a Medi deleting something else. Cherubimon playing out a level 4, nuking something by 8k minimum. With partition, you don't have to worry about overflow since Cherubimon doesn't leave the field. Like, this card is just, I don't know, really funny things. You have the Alliance Lily underneath this thing, and you have a couple of Alliance fodder targets. Like, two swings with this. You only need like 4 Digimon on board, which is super easy to do in this list. But on to Zwart. Oh, Zwart, my beloved. This card turns your board from like a 2 to 3 Digimon to a 5+ instantly. When Digivolving, trash the top 3 cards of your deck, then play up to 2 play cost 8 purple or black Digimon without paying their costs. This means that, like previously stated, he can play out Namekemon if going over memory or passing turn to help give Zwart protection, or rebooting him at the end of turn if your holding turn still needs to swing. He's able to play any of your level 3 to 5 BT17 Argomon, so if you need to dig, play out a Searcher Argo. You realistically shouldn't be playing the level 4 Argo here, since its effect is only when Digivolving. RIP. So we realistically get little value here. Since if it does die, we could play our level 6 Argo from trash, since we Digivolved on top of our level 6 Argo to get to Zwart, or Puppet, since we'll discuss that shortly though. This combo is even better. When Zwart swings, throw a level 6 underneath it back to your hand to delete a play cost 12 or less unsuspended Digimon your opponent controls. It's a little niche, it's negligible, it doesn't matter too much. If all our opponent's Digimon are suspended, we can swing through them with Piercing Inherited from our Kuwagamons, potentially swing for multiple checks with Lilymon under it, and of course swing multiple times if we have BT17 level 5 Argo under him. If we decided to return a level 6 Argo from under him to the hand, it fuels one of our newly played level 5 Argos, being able to end our turn going into level 6 Argo again, building up another huge stack and deleting a level 6 Mon or lower, keeping their tamers locked down in the process. Now we can't use his when attacking if Digivolving on Puppet A, since we will trigger Overflow. I mean, you can, but you will trigger Overflow. We can, however, also reanimate Puppetmon Ace from trash with Zwart as well, meaning that with our 2 copies in trash, we can play both, getting 2 12k blockers that de-digi 2 things twice, or 1 target 4 times, and bottom decking up to 2 suspended Digimon. Like, my god, these 2 level 7s, man, they just make Argo look unbalanced as all hell. Every time I've managed to succeed in playing Zwart, I've won on the next turn, outside one exception where I decided to go into Zwart super early with like 10 cards in trash for memes, and I had like 0 targets to reanimate, making him a relatively underwhelming high cost Digimon. Oh my god. I'm a gambling man. But option time. We've got 2 agility trainings for Valdur, 3 for Zwart. More or less just because we need to be able to add our rhythms to hand early if necessary, and unlike our Searcher Argo, we can add Medi and our support aces to the hand. It is also very cheap, only costing 2, so we can play it in a pinch to search for whatever Argo level we need to climb our stack. 1 Double Typhoon for Valdur, a copy of Flower Cannon for Zwart. A 3-cost green option when played, dig 3, add any green Digimon and a green Tamer. So this card is basically an extra copy of our Searcher Argo, which is pretty awesome, but it's more flexible. Its delay effect, play a Terriermon from your hand for free. This isn't as strong as I'd like it to be, since the likelihood we have both this on board and one of our free Terriermons in hand to play isn't super high, but will come in handy for an extra Mon or Digisorption target, or even an Alliance target. Insecurity, suspend 2 of your opponent's Digimon. When we then put it into play. Now that's a pretty spicy meatball. This can single-handedly swing a game in our favour, realistically, since as much as we would like to have green memory boosts, having more solid control options and searches that hit our rhythm is more important to Argomon. So this card needs to be played. Since we don't run the 5 Terriermon in Zwart, only 2 copies, we don't play Double Typhoon in Zwart. Flower Cannon. This cool little support option is a 2-cost suspended Digimon. We play it more hoping it gets put into our security as a security bomb. This card effect is it's crazy. It's insane. Similar to Double Typhoon, arguably much better though. When hit, suspend all Digimon your opponents control without blocker. So in the very odd matchup, it's garbage, but overall, it performs better than Double Typhoon in security, but doesn't do as much when played. Very similar cards, but want to be seen in opposite ways. And since we don't actually play all those Terriermons in the Zwart list, like, Flower Cannon just makes more sense here. Both decks will also play one copy of HPD, Hidden Potential Discovered. This card is cracked for green and is our free memory card for green. It's much more niche, but has a much higher ceiling. While most of the other free memory options will grant you 2 memory at some alternate cost, HPD gives us 5 memory worth of value, but only to be used on a single Digivolution, and we must suspend a Digimon as an additional cost. The card is basically a must-have because it allows us to Digi into Zwart for 1, helping us keep turn and prep the nasty shenanigans that ensue. Because we don't play memory boosts in these decks, HPD and training are our only true reduction source for Zwart and shouldn't be used lightly. In Valdur, it's not nearly as important, but this card adds another rhythm enabler to both lists, making it number 6 in our ways to trigger her. A single green scramble in Zwart, some of the ARGO cards needing to often digivolve onto non-ARGO Digimon. It's better for us memory-wise to have one in our back pocket. It also allows us to replay our Searcher ARGOs in a pinch, can top deck us a level 5 or 6 ARGO if it's de-digied or deleted previously. Green Scramble has been a really solid staple for this particular list, has shined more than often in what, other lists I've played Scramble in. I would play another copy, don't currently have the space. It also allows us to recover our Medis and Puppet Aces if needing better forms of removal. We're also going to play 2 copies of my favourite pauper removal option, Heaven's Judgment in Valdur, and 1 copy in Zwart. Because we actually have access to 4 potential colour in Valdur's list and 5 in Zwart, meaning we can nuke insane amounts of board presence between both lists. 7 costs, neg 6k something, repeat it for each colour of Digimon you control. In security, neg 12k something. This card has saved me on more than several occasions and is a great answer into Ace Digimon since we can push up a Searcher ARGO from the back, play this, keep our turn. This card was cut to 1 in Zwart since we have access to Puppet Ace, which can usually deal with the big threats, meaning we can substitute it in with a Scramble to recover what we may need mid to late game. To continue our Tamer cards for the deck though, we're going to be playing 2 copies of BT1 Mimi in both lists, because this card grants us access to a memory setter and the ability to churn out more attackers and blockers faster. During your turn, if you control level 5 or higher green Digimon, suspend Mimi, move a level 3 or higher Digimon in raising to the board or hatch in your raising area. Mimi has been a great inclusion, helps fix the issue with Rhythm not being a memory setter. She also helps increase our own Tamer count to reduce level 5 ARGO Digi if our opponent is lacking on their own Tamers. Last card of both lists though, 3 copies of EX1 Analog Youth for Zwart, 2 for Valdur. A 2-cost white Tamer on play, reveal the top 3 cards, add 1 Digimon card among them, trash the rest. This is an amazing filter piece for both decks, but considering that Zwart actively wants more cards in trash like Puppet to reanimate later, we don't mind playing the extra copy to fill up the trash faster. It also helps get our level 4 Rhythm ARGO to play if Rhythm is in hand, and we can throw unnecessary ARGOs into the trash to later stack up under our level 6 ARGO. This card also gives us a second color for Lilymon if we're unlucky with our Rhythms and only have a Mimi on board, meaning that she's still able to spin away suspended threats. This card is a major feels bad if we hit Rhythm off it, but it still generates you enough value on average that it's 100% worth the risk. If you're concerned about this particular interaction, you can always wait until you have at least 1 Rhythm on board before setting up your analogs. All turns when a level 5 or higher Digimon you control with materials under it dies, suspend analog, gain a memory, then hatch and raising. This with Mimi is just crazy tempo on your eggs, but it doesn't really come up all that often since outside of level 6 ARGO, we're generally playing all our aces and medis on board by themselves, but if you can get 1 or 2 memory off this in a game, you can't complain. Deck list is up on screen for you guys now. I'm going to run them back to back for the sake of things so the infographics aren't too small. Price-wise, we're looking at just under 210 USD for the Zwart list and 250 US for the Valdur. A lot of these prices are just the 2 medi. Outside those, the decks are still pretty cheap. Like it's not a the core is it's all commons and uncommons. Come on. That being said, the decks can be pimped out to all hell if you're playing max rarity, but we're not going to go into that. It's honestly the deck for me. I've loved playing Argomon to bits. I've become known in the era as being the Argo guy, the guy that's made a scary Argo list in 2025, and that's praise enough for me personally. I've toyed with this deck for months now, trying to find what I'd consider the most efficient lists possible. This is as close as I can get with what materials we have at our disposal. BT21's inclusion of Puppet definitely helped raise its defensive capabilities and was the original basis for wanting to create a Zwart list. I'm always looking at new potential green inclusions as new sets are coming out, specifically for Argomon. I pray we get some sick new Argomon cards that will soon replace some of these janky pieces. But that being said, it is my pet deck and I'm happy with its overall strength right now. It's been made to be roguish and anti-meta. I knew we were in a format where decks like Adventure and Hunters relied heavily on Tamer involvement and Argomon's Tamer control, with our support aces keeping things off the board, unable to attack, our Floodgate rookies having multiple control effects, we're having multiple nukes. The overall game plan for Argomon usually has some form of removal to deal with the opponent as long as we aren't being outvalued, which to be fair can happen because a lot of our cards can be a little underwhelming early game. But yeah, I'd love to know what you guys think. As for these brother lists, which one you'd prefer to build if you end up making it, because it's probably the one deck I won't be taking apart anytime soon. The idea that we can swap out or change up about 10-ish cards, so to speak, and create two completely different lists that work in different ways but just, feel the same. It's so cool. It's the second and third constructed list I'm sharing on this channel. The only reason it wasn't the first is because I really wanted to make sure I was happy with playtesting and the card choices prior to sharing these abominations of a deck. Thank you all for listening, for coming to my TED Talk. I know this one's been a long one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Scream Argo in the comments below for me, and I will see you all next time on the Wondercat channel. Ta-ta.